is up, RotoGrinders? Dean here. Dean's 7 out of 4. If you want to get all technical, about 2 hours, a little bit less than 2 hours. No, right on the nose. 2 hours until first pitch. As far as tonight's 8-game MLB DFS slate, another funky time. First game starts, first pitch starts. Talk about 7:35 on the East Coast. That's why we're jumping on a little bit late. Crunch time comes on a little bit late, around 6:30 or so, with Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth, Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, Erik Beimfohr as well. You got myself, Tim, Tasteful Tides, 3-entry max specialist, single entry specialist. We're talking about a pre-show, Tim. In the single entry on DK in the 121, you started talking about how you finished top 10, despite losing 2 of your players to Rafael Devers hit a home run and kind of single-handedly also knocked out the San Fran stack. 2 of his players, Matt Chapman and Willie Adames, I believe. It was a Chapman and Adames. Both got into a bit of a scrum. They were with Kyle Freeland. How was Devers not ejected? I was confused though. He was barking with Freeland. I don't know who started.
He was just barking. I don't think he threw many punches. But I was getting the notifications on my phone. I felt like I was playing NBA DFS. Dean. I was like, 2 of my guys ejected right before they even got an at bat. So I was like, oh well, I'm dead. This is fun. And then I happen to have Andrew Benintendi. I happen to have Andrew Benintendi on my roster at 3% owned, who decided that he wanted to play baseball for once, and he went absolutely bananas. So I ended up getting 10th for I think about 6 or 7x my money overall tonight. But I mean, getting absolute stone cold zeros out of those middle Giants guys was not fun.
NBA, you lose 1 player, you have no chance. 2 players, you definitely have no chance. But the MLB, you can salvage. You need to have a bat. They had 0 at bats. Schmidt came off the bench, of course, and homered, who was like, before the lineup came out, was one of the cheapies that was going to be super popular. So if anybody set their lineup hours in advance, got themselves a homer, and they probably shouldn't have as well. That was some weird stuff for sure. I don't know how I had every White Sox but Benintendi, unfortunately. I loved the White Sox last night. We talked him up in Minnesota. I like that game a good bit, and I didn't quite get there. At some of the Sox, Sosa has been great, but Benintendi, who banged out 2 homers, and what does he have, 10 on the season at this point? Can't be that many. Shout out to him and shout out to you for getting Benintendi. Top 10. That's pretty sweet. Back at it tonight, same deal. We have every single lineup. Every lineup is in, with the exception of San Francisco. No San Fran just yet. Just came out. I heard a ding in my ear. And was that the lineup, or is that a notification for something else? Nope. No San Fran lineup just yet. The only team that has a team total above 5, there's actually 6. 6 and change, 6 on a hook, 6.149. If you're getting all technical here against German Marquez, who, man, it's been a rough season for German. Came back from his injury, got beat up once again. It's not good. Otherwise, no other team on this slate, Tim, none, as far as team totals above 5. So it's very, very clear, at least team total wise, that San Fran's the place to be. I ran some quote unquote optimal lineups. I added a little bit of variance to it on DK, and the first 6 people were Giants. If you include the pitcher, which Robbie Ray, this is always exciting. When is that ever not work? Oh, all the time. I don't know how he has just a 3-year ERA. I swear, if they have like splits. I want the splits of when I roster him, when I don't roster him, because when I roster Robbie Ray, it never seems to go well. But once again, he's getting pumped out, in part because the pitching on this slate kind of stinks. It very much stinks. I don't know why I'm saying kind of. It fully stinks. Biggest K rate is another pitcher who always is popular, never quite gets there, is Zebby Matthews, but he's got the biggest K rate. It's 27%, just like yesterday. But there's nobody that has a big K rate, 27%. Next up is Will Warren. It's 24.8%. More recently, it's less. And then the super solid, super safe, generally reliable, never really winning anything for you, never really losing anything for you, George Kirby. George Kirby at 24.3%. Aaron Nola, who's kind of broken. I think he's kind of broke. It says Nola on the back of the jersey, but I'm not certain. It's not really Aaron Nola, right? We got to roster 2 of these guys on DraftKings, Tim. I do not feel good. I do not feel comfortable as far as pitching tonight. I'm curious to get your takes. I know I was reading Cheese's article. I'm like, oh, Cheese is going to help me out. And even Cheese was kind of like, I don't know. We'll see. He'll
Do
chime in later on.
Do you feel like Cheese punted pitching today?
No, I mean, he put all the analysis in. Like sometimes you can do all the calculations and just nothing. There's no clear answer, right? Like he was trying to figure it out, and I was trying to figure it out, and I'm sure you're trying to figure it out. Maybe you have an answer. I don't feel great about it. Yeah. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely nothing to feel great about today. It's definitely extremely shaky with pitching tonight. A lot of kind of just, again, we've seen this a lot lately. A lot of no separation when it comes to no like really standout pitcher that's like, oh, you absolutely have to play this guy as your SB1. It's definitely that's just isn't the case today. So, I mean, we're going to get to Robbie Ray. We're going to talk about George Kirby. Those two seem to be the most popular, but I don't think either one of them are absolutely must plays. Like Robbie Ray in Coors Field as the second highest owned pitcher on the day. Like what could possibly go wrong? I mean, it's super tough. And it's not really clear on like what you're supposed to do. It's if you're playing cash, I'm okay if you want to play George Kirby, but I think honestly, with Robbie Ray, I think I'm fading him everywhere, but including cash games, like it's just a tough spot. Well, at least in Coors, it's tough to trust somebody like Robbie Ray. I know that the Rockies have been absolutely atrocious all season, but they're actually not horrible at home. So, and they, like Cheese mentioned in his article, they do have some right-handed power. So I just don't think this is a great spot for Robbie Ray. I know that he's going to be popular, but I think I'm going to stay away from him playing.
The righty power, Goodman, Beck, Doyle, and a really small sample, Braxton Fulford. I'm not sure how real that is. Talking about 32 at-bats versus lefties on the season. And Ray this year, the splits are pretty dramatic, 171 ISO as far as the power against right-handers. Much better against lefties, 116. Interesting that, the Ks are higher versus righties, which is of note. I don't think that's the case. That has been the case the last 2 years. Well, last year was a really small sample too, but I don't know if that's the case historically for him. 25.5% versus righties, 20.4% versus lefties. And the other, I'm seeing a comment here in chat from Cam the Man. What's up, chat? Hit that like button. Do turn on those notifications. If you subscribe to the channel, we'd appreciate that as well. Always want to build the subscribers. He just says, listen, keep attacking this horrible Angels lineup. And that's what I did last night. And it worked out, and it worked out, and it worked out. And it still wasn't a disaster. But, like, Adele finally got my guy Lorenzen. I don't know if you saw Adele with, like, a 470-foot bomb. Just absolutely destroyed a baseball that took the lead. Lorenzen was basically that was going to be his last at-bat, I think. Tonight we have Mike Trout is out. He was scratched yesterday if you missed it. But Turner Ward is back for the Angels. And, we keep talking about the Angels and just their propensity to strike out. The current iteration, the current lineup today, just one of the 9 guys is in the green as far as Ks, 18% Rengifo. Everybody else is striking out in the red. If you look at the plate IQ, collectively 25.8%. And what's interesting, if you see the lineup HQ, Tim, is that he's got the rainbow. I've never seen a pitcher he's not terrible. We're not really sure what he is, to be honest, but is Ryan Berger, is he worthy of the rainbow? He's getting the rainbow, meaning like everybody tagged him. He's fine, and I guess it's more about the opponent here, and the price is pretty good. Ownership-wise, we're seeing Berger at about 22% on DK, Kirby the most popular, 33, Ray 32, Zebby in between at 24. Do we like Ryan Berger? I think that's going to be higher, to be honest. I think Berger might be a little bit higher, and I think people might push back a little bit on Ray. I don't know if Ray's going to be 32%, just because, Coors and also Ray is just so all over the place sometimes. How do we feel about Ryan Berger? Should we feel good about that?
I don't think we should feel good about it, especially if you think he's going to get steamed with ownership, which I kind of agree with you. I think that Ray's ownership is going to come down a little bit and Berger's is going to go up a little bit. But I've been wrong about that stuff before. I mean, it's one of those things tonight. And I don't know. Like, I know that we want to we want to stream pitchers against the Angels. I get that. But it's just kind of tough. Like 7,500. I don't know if he has like a huge ceiling in this spot. I kind of want to pivot to Will Warren, to be honest with you, at 8K. I mean, we'll talk about Zebby too, and I'm going to touch on Aaron Nola. But if Will Warren is really going to be lower owned than Zebby, than Berger, than Nola, I know that Warren has not been fantastic lately, but I mean, this guy has shown really, really elite ceiling. So I think in GPPs, like he's definitely not a cash game play, but in single entry and large field stuff, I think I'd rather go Will Warren and chase that high K rate over Berger and Nola. I don't know about you, but and then you kind of talked about how like Aaron Nola is not the same guy. Like, is that really Aaron Nola? But he doesn't have to be the same guy anymore at 7,700. So I feel, I guess, a little bit safer with Nola than Berger and Matthews. Like, it's really, really close. I think it's really ownership dependent, and you have to really lean into like what you think ownership's going to do. And if you think Berger is going to get steamed, I think that he's kind of like I would reduce my shares on him.
So, by the way, my apologies on my mic. Apparently, I had my mic linked to my phone. Is my mic is okay right now?
You sound completely normal to me.
Okay. Apparently, it was sounding goofy earlier. At least that's what I got. Somebody said in chat, I think it was struggling. I think it was getting picked up on my phone. I have a weird setting or something going on there. I got to figure that out. And it changes sometimes when I'm there, but nonetheless, that's a tech issue on my side, and my apologies. So the argument for Will Warren is that the K rate versus righty is almost 31%, 30.9%. You're facing Houston. So actually, you know what? Houston's rolling out 4 lefties, and they added Jesus Sanchez. They got Taylor Trammell, who strikes out a lot. Some power there in the 9-hole. Not a lot of Ks, though. Collectively here, Tim, 17.7%. It's a really, really contact-heavy lineup versus righties. And you compound that with Will Warren, who has seen his strikeouts sputter. His last 3 starts, he has not topped 3 strikeouts. He's not topped 5 innings. Last 30 days specifically, his K rate is at 18.6%. So maybe it's just he's kind of wearing down, I think. Maybe. I'm not sure. I can't tell you that confidently, but it certainly looks like it on paper to me. So that's the reason why I'm not in on Warren. We got a few more lefties. Just collectively, this is a pretty contact-heavy team for Houston. The other thing is, like you said, there's really nobody. Like, you could poke holes in every single person we can kind of throw out there. You mentioned the Nola thing. Milwaukee's just kind of a tough opponent. And yes, he's discounted, but Nola might be his stunt double at this point. It's not exactly Aaron Nola, and he's declined over the years. He's a lot of mileage on that arm. I guess he's in the pool, but I'm not excited about it. There's Zebby. Zebby's got the biggest K rate on the slate. Of course, when he's not striking people out, he gets hit pretty hard. Pretty big barrel rate. Fly ball guy as well. His ERA is over 5, but you can argue he's been unlucky. I just keep bouncing back and forth between some different names. I saw somebody in chat throw out Jeffrey Springs against St. Louis, and St. Louis is not a team that we're especially afraid of on the season. Just the Ks are really not high enough for me. Almost 20% for Springs. I'm rounding up a little bit. However, he's facing a really strikeout happy lineup. A couple contact guys up top and Wynn and Herrera, but behind him, 7 dudes, all 7, 3 through 9 are strikeout heavy players. 24.9% collectively. Pretty good ballpark to throw baseballs in outside of Sacramento. So it's an upgrade for Springs. So he could survive. I think Springs. Bottom line is like it's kind of about survival, right? Is anybody going to put up a 30? I guess Kirby's a guy that can do that, just maybe through like 6 or 7 innings. They gave Wu a quick hook yesterday. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if that's an organizational thing, but I assume that Kirby were rejected for 98 pitches, and tough ballpark, of course, in Tampa, St. Pete. But skill-wise, one of, if not the best pitcher on this slate. The lowest Sierra on this slate is actually Zebby, but right behind him is George Kirby. Strike thrower, 6.1% walks, ground ball guy, 24.3% as far as the Ks. Now he's protected typically by that ballpark there in Seattle, so it's a big negative ballpark shift. I I think I'm going to play Kirby just because he feels like, and I know it's kind of like the safe move, right?
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he's one of my two guys, and it's just not that much more for him. I'm not sure who I'm going to pair him with. It might be one of those deals where I just kind of make my lineup and, whatever fits. It's like, okay, it's going to be one of these three guys and, throw a dart. But I don't think I want to play Ray is like one of my moves. It's just
I don't really want to play Ray. And just to touch on FanDuel really quick, like you're going to see Nola at 8,600. He's going to be he's the Bats top pitcher overall, but I don't really like that tonight. I would rather just find the money for Kirby. Zebby's at 93. He's fine. It's kind of I think it's a bigger decision than what some are saying about between Bergert and Warren on FanDuel as well. Bergert's a little bit cheaper. He's 8,100. Warren's 87. I don't know. I guess Bergert's got the better matchup, but I just don't. I'm not as high as I guess our lineup HQ people are.
They're asking in chat about the weather for Chicago. Yeah, I wanted to see what Roth had.
It seems neutral in Weather Edge in 33 games with these conditions. We have seen a 12% increase in home runs, a 17% total run in total runs, but it's only a 33-game sample size. So I'll see what Roth has to say, but it doesn't seem outstanding either way.
Yeah, he wrote it up as far as just kind of some concern when it comes to the weather. Pre-game rain, but no in-game rain. Just looks like a chance of a late start from pre-game rain with no other issues. Also worth noting that winds are really booking it at about 15 miles per hour, but they are currently looking like they're blowing across the park, not in or out. I actually think for the later half of the game, they'll be blowing in a bit from left. So that's tricky because, the forecast is the forecast, but the wind is moving, mid-game. That is of note. Because I did think it was strange. It was an 8 total. And I saw the wind, 60 miles per hour toward right center. And like you said, it's a small sample, so I don't really forget about the small samples, but we have seen a bump in runs and homers. But it's also chilly, 64 being the temp. So, Roth didn't go out of his way to point out it's an incredible spot. And Vegas doesn't seem to love it either with an 8 total. No Kyle Tucker, by the way, in that Chicago lineup. Certainly weakens it. Anybody else we want to talk about as far as pitchers? Any other names we're seeing thrown in chats? I'm trying to see if he missed anybody.
Is Yoandris Gomez worth a shot at 6,700 as an SB2?
I don't think I'm going there. We don't have a huge sample. He's been the biggest barrel rate, and the walks are at 14%. Is just, to me, it's kind of unacceptable. The Ks are on 21%. He's been a fly ball guy as well. I don't think that's going to be for me, but I'm not going to say you can't do it. And it's a pretty contact-heavy lineup today for Minnesota outside of Buxton and Wallner, and you got Julien at the bottom. On the season, Gomez, and the samples are pretty small, but 20% strikeouts, almost 23 versus righties, 18 and change versus lefties. Lefties are really hitting them hard. And this Minnesota team, they do have some lefty power in Larnack and Wallner. I think that they miss is one of their other guys, one of their power lefties not in the lineup today. Julien's there, but he has not shown a ton of power. I think last year a little bit more versus righties, but it's going to be a no for me, but I can't say definitively no because I'm choosing other guys that I don't really love over him. Is he somebody you're considering or not so much?
I think if I was making 10 or more lineups, he would be in a 20 max pool for me. I might put him in one or two. No Tucker, no PCA for the Cubs. I know Bryce Elder is not very good, but I mean that Cubs lineup looks not great here.
Welcome to the squad, Carlos Santana. You're batting fifth.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's not a great Chicago lineup. Is PCA? I didn't know he was hurt. Is he hurt? I know Tucker got dinged.
I know Tucker was hurt. I don't know about PCA.
Yeah, maybe I missed something on that as far as because he was out of the lineup. He was out the lineup yesterday versus a lefty, but not really sure what's going on there. But okay, that it's not a great lineup, but I guess the park is neutral at worst, I think, but it's going to change the middle of the game possibly. Derek is saying they're giving PCA a mental break. We've had that a couple times this year. I think they did it with Tucker as well. So earlier in the season, or not too long ago with his thumb. Physical and mental break is what the chat is saying. Yeah. Where's TJ so I can take my victory lap? TJ yells at me because I dared say PCA was like playing over his head because he chases every single pitch and strikes out at everything, and he just could not keep up, but he was keeping up. And I like the guy, but he's got to get that eye right. All right. We said a lot. I don't know. We said, Cheese wrote a lot, right? Cheese wrote a lot about pitchers, and there wasn't some definitive, conclusion. We said a lot as far as the pitchers today. And where are we at? Like, what are we settling on? I think I'm playing George Kirby. I think he's like the best pitcher, and, take my chances here against Tampa. Who am I pairing him with? Not Robbie Ray. I'm pretty sure it's not Robbie Ray.
Are you leaning to Bergert?
I'm open to Bergert. I'm open to it. I'm open to Zebby, although I'm starting to like the Chicago White Sox team. Dare I give Eric Johnson credit in chat? I'm not sure if Eric is lurking, but he was on the White Sox. Dare I do that?
Dean. Let's not do that.
We just got the Giants, by the way. No Young-Ho Lee, which is surprising because it's a righty, isn't it? Wilmer's in there as well as Luis Matos. That's interesting because I think in the survey, most everybody put Lee as one of their favorites salary savers. And Dom Smith not in there, another lefty. That's interesting. Sitting two lefties here versus Marquez. Let's see if we got the official lineup for San Fran. That means we have them all. San Francisco, who they rolling out today? It's Ramos, Devers, Adames, Chapman, Flores, Drew Gilbert, who had a big game the other day, Casey Schmidt, Matos, and Bailey, who banged one out. Cheap catcher homer. That's what knocked me out. I think I was on the bubble, and that's what knocked me out. It's like, Patrick Bailey. Okay, interesting lineup there for San Francisco. What a weird little setup yesterday with Devers as homer. Great spot for Devers. We'll talk about him sitting up, but German Marquez, super vulnerable versus lefty power here in Coors. Do you want to give the synopsis as far as pitchers as we move on to some stacks?
Yeah, so DraftKings cash, I think it's definitely George Kirby as your SB1. That's like the easiest choice of the night. SB2, I think it's actually pretty hard. I'm considering for cash going Kirby Matthews. Maybe people might want to just follow the projection and go Kirby Nola, but I'm probably going to find the 500 and go Kirby Matthews. Bergert's okay for any format, but I'm just not as bullish as the projection is. I really like Will Warren for GPPs, and Dean kind of talked about it a little bit, but I just wanted to add to it really quick. I like Jeffrey Springs tonight at 7,300. That Cardinals lineup is really bad and pretty strikeout heavy. So $7,300 for him. I think he's a really solid play in single entry and large field stuff. But I think cash is Kirby and Zebby for me.
Brandon chat says that Marquez gives up power to righties. He does. He does not discriminate. It's both. If you look at the ISO, 195 ISO versus the righties, 222 against lefties, a 400 WOBA against lefties. That's he's in the 400 club. That is a pretty big number. 260 lefties this season. So both, but a little bit more upside against the lefties. Play everybody against German Marquez. You're locked in for 9. This is why we got a 6.5 total. We know it's the biggest jump in baseball as far as the ballpark in San Fran to Coors Field. So that's why the Giants are jumping off the page. Okay, let's talk about our tiers. I do want to mention, Tim, and we're going to talk a little football in a second, a little football-inspired tiers. If you're looking to get into NFL DFS, you want to access the season, why not get more bang for your buck with the Combo Pro deal for a limited time. You get your first month of Combo Pro for just $79 and change. That's only $5 more. It's only $5 more than NFL DFS monthly by itself, a la carte. You get everything else. Everything else, as you see on the screen: football, baseball, basketball, hockey, NBA, PGA, WNBA. I think there's some UFC, everything with the exception of NASCAR, just $5 more. So that is an elite value. Yeah, of course, NFL is starting tomorrow night. NFL, get excited. We're almost 24 hours away from the Dallas Cowboys getting shellacked. Well, we'll see. They probably will lose. I assume they're going to lose. Versus, you're not angry Cardi typing, but I can hear the typing. I can definitely hear the typing, Tim.
Really, you can?
Oh, yeah. It's not as bad as Cardi, but I was like, what is that noise? And then I look up and I see that you are typing away. Are you hammering away in chat? Are you answering chat's questions? Or are you in personal time answering personal emails?
No, I was answering Dean, I don't have time for personal time. I mean, it's best ball stuff. It's NFL season now. No, I was just going to answer Jake's question in the YouTube chat. Burger and Springs. I don't really love Burger tonight.
Yeah,
he's fine. Like, if that's the way you want to go, I think it's completely fine.
Yeah. That's sort of my that's the endorsement I give as well. And you got to click on 2 on DK, FanDuel. You just got to click on 1. Who was your favorite FanDuel pitcher? I know you're talking about FanDuel specifically. Ownership wise, we're seeing it pretty split.
It's probably just Zebby for me at 93. If you have the 800 for Kirby, yeah, obviously that's fine. I think I would try to build my teams around Zebby at 93. But I don't really. I'm just not as high on Berger and Nola, I guess, as like the bat is. So I think it's going to be Zebby and Kirby for me over there.
He did get the 6 innings last time out. He typically doesn't. He got the 6 in 96 pitches. Yeah. He tends to come around the 5th inning or so, give or take. 4 2/3, 4 innings, 5 2/3, 5 innings, 4 1/3, and he got 6 before that. In just 81 pitches, he was super efficient against Washington. All right. We mentioned NFL. We're talking about tomorrow night. I guess you're so efficient. You're already considering dinner plans for tomorrow night. We're watching the game. We're having that discussion. So you threw out for today's tiers. We're talking about food for the game, right? Is that basically the topic was? Best thing to eat while you're watching the game? Not necessarily. Yeah. Kind of like the same how you answer like Super Bowl food, that kind of thing. Well, what you would have for the spread. So let us know in chat. What are you eating tomorrow night for the game? You watching the big game? It's not the Super Bowl, but it's a game. It's Philadelphia and the Dallas Cowboys. Let us know in chat what you would typically, if your favorite team's on, you're going to have a dinner around it or something like that, a lunch, depending on the time. What do you want to watch? What do you want to eat while you're watching your favorite team? And you're watching commercials on Red Zone. Oh, Tim, I'm not happy. I mean, like, you knew this was coming.
Yeah,
you knew this was coming.
I mean, that is a bunch of BS. I'm glad you brought that up. That's horrible what they're doing.
But I mean, they spent billions of dollars, whatever it was, to acquire. Like, you knew it was coming.
Boycott it.
Yeah, right.
And do what?
We're definitely gonna boycott.
Just don't pay for it. Just illegally stream it.
Oh, whoa.
Steve endorsing. It's like $30 or whatever it is. I don't know, but just hopefully it's like limited commercials.
Isn't Red Zone like $200 a season?
No. I don't think so. I typically it's sometimes like it's an add-on package, or they sucker you to buy like a different sports package depending on where you're getting it from. I think I haven't figured out, I'm gonna use it on YouTube or I'm gonna get it through the ESPN app. I'm not sure, but I'm not happy. But hopefully it's like mostly commercials, like picture-in-picture stuff, I'm guessing. But maybe they'll just be full-fledged commercials. Yeah, we're gonna step aside for 2 minutes. Yeah. Maybe it's commercials like only Cleveland's on. It's just Cleveland. It's like, here's like 3 hours. Give me 15 minutes of commercials. We'll catch up that way. I'm okay missing Cleveland. But, we can't be surprised, though, because it's a business and screw the customers. Let's see. Yeah. Devin talking about it can be costly. All the NFL packages.
We're just going to promote it in the chat. We're
Yeah.
We're going to go full on.
I never said I steal it. I never said I
but
do.
you were trying to tell us to steal it.
Well, I was telling you to boycott it. You said you can't live without it, though. So then that's the alternative.
TJ with a great Steve the Pirate reference from Dodgeball. A nice little pun there as well. Oh, that was well done, TJ. All right. So, chat, what are we eating? Onion rings, mozzarella sticks. Now it's just appetizers. Did I not frame that correctly? Did I frame that correctly? I guess that's fine. You can have your onion rings, your mozzarella sticks, your loaded potato skins. But our board is a little bit different. I don't think we have any of that on our board, but we went kind of chalky and not necessarily appetizers, right, Tim? Is that about right?
I think so. I mean, we kind of went with the chalk stuff.
All right, let's go ahead and reveal the board. We put pizza. Pizza's looks like that's the chalk, but that's good chalk. That's like Tarek Skubal at home against the Rockies. That's you just play it, you just eat it. Pizza. How do you go wrong there? You lobbied for nachos in the 2-hole. I didn't necessarily agree, but I don't want to fight you. Wanted to get it's a collaborative effort. Do you want to give me the pitch for nachos in the 2-hole?
I think they're just a solid. Everybody tends to like them. They're relatively easy to make. They can feed an army really pretty easily. So I think they're just a really, really safe choice. Like a lot of people like to grill for something like this. Like I don't really want to work that hard. I just want to have something really, really easy to make.
I thought you're pretty good in the grill though, if necessary, in a pinch, right?
Yeah, I mean I'm okay with the grill. I will grill, but it's like I just want to veg out, and watch football.
Kirkwood says love a good French dip, and that's very specific. I had the French dip where it was allegedly invented at Philippe's in Los Angeles. I don't know if you've ever been out there before, but the story goes that they accidentally dropped the sandwich in the au jus sauce. Are you aware of this story? Have you heard the lore of the French dip origin story?
I have not.
I mean, this is how the story goes, but allegedly a cop, I don't know why it was a cop, but a cop ordered, this is, I guess, gives more credibility to the story, wanted a French dip. They accidentally dropped the French dip in the au jus sauce, and he's like, you know what, screw it. I'll eat it anyway. No worries. There's no sense in throwing it out. And it turned out, he's like, wow, this is amazing. And that's how they realized it was delicious. And that's how the French dip was born in Philippe's in Los Angeles. Have you had it before? Have you had a French dip?
Not Philippe's. I've never been there. I have definitely had a French dip before. Yeah, but not there.
We got burgers in the middle. I feel like the chat's not going to like wings in the 4-hole. It's a little messy. It's just a little. It's too messy.
It is. It is.
They're especially if they're saucy wings. They're fine. I'm just not. Wings are okay. I think they're a little bit overrated. And then, of course, despite the fact, isn't it like healthy? What is it? Healthy Promotion Week? What did you say it was? What week is it? We celebrate this week?
I think it's National Nutrition Week.
Yeah, even on National Nutrition Week, we somehow. I mean, there's a time and a place. There's a time and a place for everything. The vegetable plate at the.
No, vegetable plate's horrible. That's definitely a bottom tier football food.
What do you think about when they throw celery, with your wings? Like they kind of dress it up a little bit.
I never touch celery. I never do, ever.
Negative calories. All right. Oh well, we've gone off the rails here with the French dip. I don't know if the chat's having a good time now.
But Mike W in chat says smoked reverse seared tomahawk steak for dinner tomorrow. I mean that sounds fantastic.
Yeah. That sounds. Mike's going all out. He's setting the bar too high though. Week 1, like how do you top that?
That's
going forward.
I mean that's to me that's not football viewing dinner. But I mean, hey, each their own. It sounds great. He's
having a good time. I can assure you that. And you said hopefully Dallas can knock 18% out of the eliminator. Yeah, I still have to join some of those pools, some of those survivor pools. I imagine Philly will be pretty popular week 1. All right. Let's throw some teams in some tiers, Tim. We have 16 teams. 16 teams we're going to throw in the tiers. We have Crunch Time coming on in about a half hour or so. That's Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, as well as Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth, Erik Beimfohr as well. First game, again, reminder if you're not aware, starting 7:35 on the East Coast. It's the Rays. They're at home. It's Adrian Hauser throwing baseballs against George Kirby. Big ballpark bump for this Mariners team. Tough ballpark there at home in God, I was going to call it the Kingdom. Really?
Wow.
That's where my brain went. I don't know why. That's where my brain. It's Safeco still, or they rebranded? Is it still Safeco? I'm not sure.
Well, I know one thing, Dean. It's not the Kingdom.
It's definitely not the Kingdom. Ken Griffey ain't walking through that door. Nor is
man. I love to watch it. I love playing Griffey baseball on N64 in like 90. I think it was 96. I think
that was your go-to.
Yeah, that was my go-to. I played that game more than any other game.
All sports, all video games. That was your number one that you played.
That was probably the number one. Yeah.
You weren't an NHL 94 guy. That was like the one
I played.
Loves.
I played NHL 94, but that was Griffey. Griffey was definitely my favorite. That was my number one.
Swingers got that popular as well too. I'm not sure if you've seen Swingers before, with the famous scene with Vince Vaughn, John Favreau.
Yeah, that's right.
They knock out Wayne Gretzky. All right, and the Blackhawks were a cheat code. They were a cheat code in that game. Chris Chelios was the greatest player of all time, and the makers of the game screwed up something, and you could not stop them. Anyways, Mariners, Rays, Kirby, Hauser. What do you got?
All right, so the Rays are really, really easy. They go in the vegetable plate tier. I don't really want to have any kind of stacks of them. Yes, you could play one-offs of them, but no minis or 3-mans. Definitely no 5-mans of the Rays for me. Kind of surprised that their team total is over 4, but either way, I'm not going to be getting to them in 3-max single entry stuff. The Mariners, again, they have a slightly higher implied team total than I thought they would. It just must be because of this ballpark. I don't know. I guess the Mariners can go in the wings tier, but neither one of these teams, in terms of offense, I'm not getting to either of these teams in 3-max or single entry stuff.
So you got Seattle in wings. The Rays. Where do the Rays go? I'm not seeing them on the board.
Rays are definitely vegetable plate.
Okay, that's what I figured. Don Yeezy says Dean is definitely I can throw that football over those mountains guy. He's calling me.
I think that's a pretty good take, but I think that's pretty.
It's not true though.
Easy. I don't know. Well, I don't know.
That means like I'm braggadocious or I go living in the glory days. That kind of thing. I don't think that's my. I don't want to be that guy. Maybe I am. I don't realize. I don't think so. And I never had a great arm. I know it's interpreted that very, specifically, but literally. But yeah, I mean, I played baseball at first.
Yeah, Derek in chat says that's more like Bobby, which is definitely a good take. Yeah, that's definitely correct, Derek.
If Bobby believes he could be a starting quarterback in the NFL and he throws 97 miles per hour if he had a baseball in his hand, yeah, I don't think that's well, whatever. Yeah, I can't throw a football over the mountains officially, no matter how close I am to that mountain. Braves, Cubs, Cade Horton against Bryce Elder. We talked about that Cub lineup looking a little bit goofy because of the absence of Kyle Tucker and PCA, two of their bigger bats this season. Horner, Bush, Suzuki, Happ, newly acquired Carlos Santana, Swanson, Will Castro, also newly acquired, Matt Shaw, and then Reese McGuire doing the catching. So, yeah, kind of a funky lineup for Chicago. And we did mention that weather. I want to see if anything changed with Weather Edge. It changes every hour. I don't recall when I exactly pulled that up. But let's see if it's any different as far as the forecast. We had the wind blowing out, but Roth is telling us it's going to shift during the game, most likely. Yeah, nothing different here according to Weather Edge just yet. But, yeah, just an 8 total. Horton is the favorite. Atlanta, just a 3.6 team total. We didn't really talk about Horton. I think he's playable. He's in the mix. Sure, why not? Chicago and Atlanta.
Yeah, Horton's definitely in the mix. It's just his pitch count. They don't let him go very long. So if he's not going to be on top of his game at 8,500 with that very, very, low-ish pitch count for that price range, that's what makes him a tough click, is just because of that. I think he's a little bit too risky for a 3-max. Yeah, if you're building out more teams, you want to get to a little bit of Cade Horton, who's projected for 6% ownership. I don't hate it. But again, it's just because of that pitch count. That being said, I don't really like Atlanta tonight. I know they have Acuna back. The top half of this lineup is decent, but towards the bottom, I think it really fades off. So I'm going to put Atlanta in the wings tier. and the same thing with this Cubs lineup. No PCA, no Tucker. It's kind of watered down. I know Elder is not very good, but he's only 6,500, which makes him in play for DFS, I think. I'm going to put the Cubs in the burger tier, but it's kind of a in between burgers and wings for me.
One skill for Elder this year is a lot of ground balls. He's got a lot of ground balls this season. ERA is really inflated at 5.85, in part, I guess, because of an unlucky homer to fly ball at 17.4%. The Ks, of course, aren't great at 17.9%. Now people are just pointing out Bobby's accolades, or at least claimed accolades in chat. So how do we turn this into, like, we spun that on Bobby pretty quickly. I'm not sure if his ears are ringing, if he's lurking, but if he sees this, he's not going to like it for sure. Okay, Cubs in burger. Atlanta goes in wings. So far, we're not terribly enthused about the offenses. Yeah, the interesting thing to note about Horton, like you're talking about, the projected as pitch count, just a little bit lower than you want it to be. I think 82 is our mean number, our average. Last few times out, 70, 74, 61. So, and he's been efficient. 70 pitches in 5 innings, 74 pitches, 6 innings, and been pretty good. But how deep can he go, I suppose, is the question. All right, we have 6 more games to go. Next up, it's the Phillies. The Phillies taking on the Brewers. Jose Quintana against Aaron Nola. 9 total. Vegas saying this is a coin toss. Both these teams have been exactly the same. 4.5 as far as their team total. Minus 110 on both sides. Philadelphia and Milwaukee. This is the one game I'm kind of afraid I'm not going to have much of. I just have a hard time, spending up. If I'm only making a couple lineups, for Schwarber and Harper against the lefty here, Quintana. And then I've struggled with Milwaukee all season long with some of these guys. I know Terang has been out of his mind last month. I think he hit 10 homers last month. Kind of a speed guy as well, too. The fringe players for the Brewers are just hard for me to click on. And they're not cheap. The good ones like Contreras and Yelich, Bowers in there doing. It was playing first base today, but he's pretty cheap. But otherwise, I'm curious your thoughts. Phillies, Brewers. Can we get above burgers or no? Not just yet.
I'm not going above burgers in this game. I'm not really as worried as you are having exposure to these hitters, Dean. I think Nola is still a competent pitcher. He's certainly not the same old Nola, but I think he can contain this Brewers team. I think I'm going to go Brewers in the burgers tier. And then Jose Quintana, this guy's been around forever. I still always want to stack against him, and it just doesn't end well a lot of times. He's just not as bad as we want him to be. He did go on a pretty nice consistent stretch earlier in the season. This is an okay matchup for him. Philadelphia can definitely be in the pool for GPPs, so I'm fine with Philly in the burger tier. But really, I think this game is going to underwhelm, whether it be from the pitching or the hitting side. So I'm not super enthralled by it.
Kirkwood and Chap pointing out the 7 lefties from Milwaukee taking on Nola, and Nola this year is really, really bad versus lefties. 176 he's faced this year, 268 ISO, a 396 WOBA. That's troublesome. The K's dip all the way down to 20.5%. So yeah, the lefties on Milwaukee are pretty interesting. I don't know if I'm going to get there, but I think it's an interesting spot. I always feel like Yelich is just a little bit overpriced, like always. Do you feel that way as well? I rarely get to him. I like him.
I think this price where he's at today is completely appropriate. I'm not saying he has any kind of massive ceiling, but I don't think he's overpriced today. I think this is where he's priced where he should be, personally.
Yes, but typically he's in the 5s. He's 4.7 today on DK, but I feel like typically he's somewhere 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, that kind of thing. But I do like him here versus Nola the more. And I guess it's kind of a leverage spot. We don't talk a lot of leverage, and a lot of times that term is overused and people overemphasize it. But if Nola's going to get, we're showing 26% on DK, where you got a roster 2, I don't mind attacking him. I don't really think that this is the Nola we thought he has been throughout his career. Angels, Royals, Ryan Berger versus Caden Dana. We mentioned before, as far as the Angels, there is no Mike Trout, but Taylor Ward is back. Chris Taylor's in the lineup once again. He was the emergency player that jumped in for the scratched Trout yesterday. We keep talking about this Angels lineup. They're just really vulnerable when it comes to striking out. When they make contact, they do have some power, especially the front end. There's some power here for Kansas City also, definitely the front end. Yaz, Vinny P. It is I never remember like a Wild Wednesday. What's the what do we give Vinny P on a Wednesday? It's like Wacky Wednesday or Kirkwood's in chat. I think he coined it. It's something to do with like a pasta sauce or something like that didn't quite hit for somebody in the South because I think it's more of a regional thing. Prince Spaghetti Day, which do you know what Prince Spaghetti Day is? I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
It did not work its way up to Maine, I suppose. All right. Talk to me about the Royals. I think look pretty good. Yeah, this Caden Dana, it's not a big sample, but he looks pretty overwhelmed so far. And then the other side, we have the Angels. What's left of them?
Yeah, we're definitely going to get over the burger tier here with the Royals. The question is it going to be pizza or nacho tier? Personally, I think right now I'm going to go full on pizza tier. They got an implied team total of 5. Caden Dana has not looked anything special here in the majors. Really like guys like Yaz and Vinny P. Even some of these cheap guys as part of like, bottom end stacks here, like Michael Massey at 2.2K. So like you can spend up at pitching and still play this full Royal stack. So I think the Royals are like a top tier offense for me. I'm not as high on Ryan Berger as projections are, but I'm certainly not going to be full stacking this Angels team. I think Berger's going to be higher owned than what we have right now. So there might be like a little bit of that leverage angle that you're talking about with Nola, with the Brewers, with this Angels team. I'm just not super confident outside of maybe getting to some like one-offs of like Zach Neto or Joe Adele, something like that. But I'm not getting to any like 2 or 3 man, or definitely no 5-man stacks for the Angels. So I'm going to go Angels in the wings tier.
I was checking the bullpen for the Angels. There are 3 lefties there. Always a little bit concerned about Yaz getting the hook, especially if Grichuk is not starting. Yaz has been good, right? And he can bang one out, start the game off, and who cares, I suppose. But just a little bit of pinch hit concern, especially with 3 lefties lurking in that Angels bullpen. Okay, let's scoot along. It's the White Sox and the Twins. Gomez versus Zebby Matthews. The White Sox won the slate yesterday for some people. Benintendi banged out a couple homers. Sosa stayed hot. Montgomery didn't quite get there, but of late he's been pretty solid, obviously. Minnesota, there's some lefty power here. There's Byron Buxton, who always has a double dong potential. 8.5 total. Minnesota, pretty heavy favorite, -172. No respect here for the White Sox. Where do you want to throw Chicago and Minnesota?
I like Zebby out of all these chalky pitchers. I like Zebby the most. I know that the White Sox were fantastic last night, but I'm not going to go back to them here tonight. I'm going to be pitching Zebby on FanDuel and on DraftKings. And I think Zebby's even cash game eligible this evening. So I'm going White Sox in the wings tier. They're not quite bottom tier, but they're pretty darn close. Yoendrys Gomez, I think he's like okay to get a little sprinkle of in like really large field GPP portfolios, but I do like the Twins tonight, and I like their prices quite a bit, and I don't think they're going to get overwhelmingly chalky. So for those reasons, I'm going to put the Twins in the nacho tier.
LSU for Life says, "What is y'all's obsession with Zebby?" We do seem to talk about him a lot, and it's like one of those names you hear. That name sounds interesting. Let's listen in. He's got the biggest K rate in the slate. He just does, and he's not priced that way. Now he's also not a guy. It's not gonna it's gonna go 7+ innings. It's just Ks matter, and he's got the biggest K rate on the slate. And who else are we gonna roster? Have you heard the rest of the names? I kind of agree that I think we kind of hype him up a little bit too much, but Steve is telling us it's a cool name. Greatest Zebby of all time in the history of baseball. I think
it is a great name. And it's like, who are we going to be throwing tonight? This is not an amazing night for pitching. So,
yeah. I've never named a child before. I never kind of looked at it. What do I call this thing? But like, do you think it was an epiphany, or do you think Zebby was the plan all along? Like, or is that like maybe a family name? What's the origin story of Zebby?
I feel like that was planned all along.
They didn't just come up with that in the delivery room. Yeah. Is there an action star that's named Zebby and it's like an homage? I don't know, but
I feel like TJ's in chat. He should know.
Yeah, TJ, let us know about any Zebbies in like the Marvel universe that I may not be aware of. But yeah, they're saying Zed. They're making a reference to Zed from Pulp Fiction. That's a different Zed and Zebby's different. Zed and Zebby, two different names. All right, let's move along. Next up, it is the Athletics. The Athletics are in St. Louis. It's Matthew Liberatore taking on Jeffrey Springs. Kurtz is back. Came back yesterday. Left on left. They're bumping him down a little bit to the 3-hole. Zebediah. That's close. Zebediah. All right. It's one letter, right? Yeah. Langoliers, Wilson, Kurtz, Rooker, Thomas, Giloff, Hernandez. Lawrence Butler keeps tumbling, or sometimes gets kicked out of that lineup altogether, but he is starting versus the lefty today. Is there no let's see. They have both catchers in there, right? Okay, both catchers are playing with McIver. All right, cracking the 9-hole. All right, you talked about it. We talked about it earlier as far as the St. Louis lineup being pretty strikeout heavy in a half-hearted endorsement of Springs. Kind of, it's like they're all half-hearted endorsements as far as the pitchers today. Certainly in the options in the bucket, pitchers we're considering. Athletics and the Cardinals. Let's throw them in some tiers.
Yes, yeah, I do like Jeffrey Springs quite a bit tonight. The Cardinals are pretty easy. I think there's a vegetable plate tier today. I know they have a 4.25 total, but this lineup is really strikeout heavy. I think Springs is a pretty solid play tonight. If you don't like Zebby, play Jeffrey Springs. We have him for around 15%. I'm not sure if he even gets that high. So if you want somebody who's a little bit more contrarian, I say play Jeffrey Springs. I don't think I've recommended him all season outside of when he was like 5K earlier on in the year. But yeah, I think this is a pretty darn good spot here. So I think Cardinals, for me, are bottom tier team. The bat kind of likes Liberatore today. He's 6,900. I'm not very high on him. I'd rather play Jeffrey Springs, but I'm definitely not high on this Athletics team. So I'm going to put the Athletics in the wing tier.
So chat's on it. I pulled up the Wikipedia page. It's actually the official name, Daniel Zebulon Matthews. So he's like, I don't want to, Daniel, no. Dan, no. Zebulon, no. Call me Zebby. So he went middle name, and he put a little spin on it. So there you go. So it's not his official name, but there you go. What's wrong with Zebulon? Do you know any Zebulons?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't think I do either. Steve's saying he would go with Lord Zebulon, Destroyer of Worlds. That sounds like somebody in the Marvel universe, I think. I can imagine, in the next Hulk movie or something. Now TJ's going to tell me Hulk is not in Marvel. 50-50 shots. Maybe he is. Not sure. All right. 2 more games to go. Crunch time. They're knocking on the door. Producer Steve's going to be pulling in about 10 minutes or so. We have Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, Kevin Roth, Chief Mineralogist, as well as Erik Beimfohr. Hulk is Marvel. I got it right. 50-50. Yankees, Astros. It's Jason Alexander, formerly the executive for the Yankees many, many years ago. Will Warren on the mound here versus Houston. We talked about Warren having a pretty good, K rate on the season, kind of sputtering of late. Maybe he's winding down, and it's a really, really contact-heavy lineup for the Astros. The Yankees put a hurting on Houston last night. Did you see the Framber Valdez fiasco? Did you happen to catch what happened here?
Did he intentionally cross up his pitcher or his catcher?
There were some, context clues would suggest he was upset. He gave up a grand slam to Trent Grisham right before the pitch was thrown. His catcher, and this was like the 3rd or 4th catcher. I think it was Cesar Salazar. Because they've had some injuries, so I don't know how much communication they have or how much history they actually have. It certainly seemed like he did it on purpose. Maybe we can get Steve to actually pull it up in the chat's talking about it as well. Maybe we can get that GIF. But it looked like he crossed them up on purpose, just kind of looking at how they're communicating with each other. They did not be on the same page. But Salazar kind of threw his hand up like he was almost calling timeout or trying to get Valdez to step off the mound. Something like he knew something was going on. And Grisham took him yard, hit a granny in the very next pitch. He crossed him up. I think he was anticipating a breaker, and he threw a fastball at him. Which, by the way, I don't know how right down the middle, the batter just should have hit it. Here's the grand slam. Look at Steve; he's on top of it. Yeah, here's the grand slam where like there's some miscommunication there with the catcher. Salazar's like step off the mound, and maybe we can get the very next pitch. And I don't know why the hitter didn't swing at this. Volpe right down the middle, right down the middle. He's like, I'm gonna let it go, and the catcher is lining up knowing that it's gonna be a curveball, and it's not, and it's a fastball, dead red. And look at the stares. Like there's something going on there, right? And Salazar can't say anything. He's barely hanging on. He's just happy to be in the majors, so he can't be upset. Framber is one of the top pitchers in the organization, but certainly seemed like a miscommunication. And it's funny because Chop mentioned yesterday it's his team. Framber like gets a little upset in the mound. He's one of those guys just when things aren't going well, and maybe that was just him venting a little bit, or just like don't tell me when I should step off the mound. And maybe he should have. Okay, Yankees and the Astros. Where are we throwing New York and Houston?
Yeah, New York's in a really great spot tonight. They should really, I believe Dave Potts ranked them higher than San Francisco, at least when considering ownership. I don't know if I'd go quite that far, but they're still a top tier team today. I mean, they are probably the best San Francisco Giants stack on the board here, especially these lefties. Like obviously you can always play Aaron Judge, but these lefties here, Grisham, Bellinger, Jazz, Ben Rice, even like at the bottom here, Ryan McMahon, Austin Wells, like all these lefties are firmly in play. The righties have so much power that you can always play them. So I mean the Yankees are really a top tier team today, and they should come in a lot lower owned than the Giants. And it looks like they might come in lower owned than the Royals.
I like them a lot too. I think they belong in the pizza tier. Every single one of them, if you look at Plate IQ, 1 through 9 in the green as far as ISO. And Jason Alexander, man, the splits, I know it's small sample stuff, but really vulnerable to lefties, 246 ISO, 370 WOBA. I mean, it's gonna be the summer of George for anybody that's a left-hander for the Yankees tonight. It's been the summer of Jazz, at least a month of Jazz. Jazz has been spectacular of late, and it doesn't mean you can't roster, Judge and Stanton, obviously. But this lineup looks pretty loaded. Rice looks pretty good, and if you're not a lefty, the righties, you have the old Crawford boxes you can pick on. You think Stanton can bang out a homer on the Crawford? Yeah, I mean, he can hit the train tracks up there like Pujols hit many years ago. All right. One more game. Oh, did you put the Astros on the board? Where'd the Astros go?
Yeah, I don't really like the Astros tonight. I actually kind of like Will Warren. I know that his strikeouts have fallen off here lately, but it's this Houston team against righties all season have just been dreadful. I know that they picked up Jesus Sanchez, but he doesn't really, make it for me here. So I'm going to put Astros. I'll put them in the wings tier.
All right. Somebody in chat, this almost was our tier conversation. Somebody in chat was mentioning that today is National Bowling League Day.
I saw that.
I don't know this, Tim. I feel like we were talking about adult activities, and then the conversation went astray. Let's just say, but we were talking about adult activities. We got like pickleball, tennis, things like that. I don't know, book club. But I could see you being in a bowling league. I could see you being a bowling guy secretly. Are you secretly a bowling guy? Do you have your own bowling ball?
I definitely do not have my own bowling ball. I was in a bowling league in college, and it was just we got wasted every like Tuesday and Thursday while we bowled. That's all it was. But it was tons of fun. It was a lot of fun.
I was like a decimal points away from getting in my major. So I had to like kind of take a semester, try to get my GPA up. So part of my strategy was to take bowling, and I aced it. I took bowling. I took like coaching basketball with a lot of the athletes, and we got in our major next semester. But yeah, I did. I too partook in some bowling in college. All right. The last game that we have for the people, it's San Fran in Colorado You may have heard the Giants are in Coors Field tonight. Their team total has been elevated. It's almost 7 now. 6.78 is the exact precise decimal. Ramos, Devers, Adames, Chapman, Flores, Gilbert, Schmidt, Matos, Bailey. I did see that Chapman was suspended a game for yesterday, but he is appealing, so he is playing baseball today. The Rockies on the other side, there is some Colorado power, right, when they hit the ball. Goodman and Beck and Doyle against Robbie Ray, who's going to be popular in Coors Field. How do we handle the Giants and the Rockies?
Yeah, I don't really like Robbie Ray tonight, and I think he's going to be pretty popular. I think the Rockies are actually in the nacho tier, especially these righties that are in the middle of the lineup. I really don't mind the Rockies as a full stack tonight. So yeah, I'm going to put Rockies in the nacho tier, and then the Giants are pretty easy. They're like clearly 100%, top tier offense tonight. Marquez is just absolutely dreadful. I mean, he has like a 16% K rate. I see no reason to roster him, and I see really no reason outside of ownership of the Giants to fade the Giants. I'm getting to at least 3 or 4 of these guys in cash games. It's a pretty easy play tonight. I just wouldn't overthink it. Rafael Devers is, I think, the top bat on the entire night. So, I mean, it's Marquez has just been absolutely dreadful. So it's a pretty easy play tonight.
Going to recap the board here in a second. The chat is giving the business about, first of all, TJ says not being able to get in your major in Florida is crazy. For starters, it's actually really hard to get in Florida. Like now at Gainesville, it's really, really tough to get into. I have some friends who have kids that got in there, and it was really, really tough. I didn't go to Florida. I went to UCF, which is also very hard to get into now. But when I got in, it wasn't as difficult. If retroactively, I'm not going to take. I probably wouldn't get in today. Yeah, I know TJ's making a joke, but for real, it's actually tough to get into some of these schools, Florida and UCF, and they're giving the business as far as taking bowling. But that's not terribly uncommon to take. Oh, I took tennis as well. I took tennis. Yeah, that was a fun semester. We did not work as hard as we typically did. We had a good time that semester, but yeah. Did you take anything goofy? I'm being presumptuous. I don't know if you went to university or not. Was there any sort of goofy subject that you took just for funsies or whatever?
No,
reason?
I went to the University of Maine, and I don't think I took anything that fun. Not really.
Yeah,
no.
well, that you got to. Of course, you. The fun. I'm out.
Yeah.
What do you call? What's the University of Maine? Like Buffaloes or something? What's the nickname of the University of Maine?
Black Bears.
The Black Bears. That's good. I didn't know that. University of Maine Black Bears?
Yeah, we won the national championship in hockey in the 90s, Dean. Paul Correa. You ever heard of him?
Yeah, Paul Correa was on he was a Black Bear. I didn't know that. Yeah. He was Anaheim Mighty Ducks back in the day. Yeah. Did not know that. But shout out to the Black Bears. I was not aware. And shout out to Marquell and chat. I took bowling at UCF as well. There you go. It was a fun little. It was off campus though. It's probably on campus now, and because there's bowling on campus, and it wasn't there when I was there because I'm old. All right, we're gonna recap the board for the people. Pizza's number 1 as far as the tiers. That's Kansas City, the Yankees, San Fran. If you missed it, this is kind of like food to eat while watching the big game. You're getting excited about football being right around the corner. Kansas City, the Yankees, San Fran. That's tier 1. Tier 2 is the Twins and the Rockies. We got nachos there. Burgers right in the middle. That's the Cubbies. Milwaukee, Philly. Most popular tier, controversial name, Wings. It's Houston, Athletics, Angels, Atlanta, Seattle, and the vegetable plate. We got the Rays and St. Louis. Do you have any Roscoe Rockets, any Tim Taters, and any gimmicks for the people as we seamlessly segue?
Any gimmicks for the people? I'm gonna see if I can find some Royals Taters really quick. See what the odds are.
Okay.
KC. I'm a little bit interested in their home run odds. They're not showing up currently. There we go. I'm gonna go with Yaz at plus 600 and Vinny P at plus 475.
There you go. Yeah, it is. Prince Spaghetti Day, after all. Like, why would he not homer on Prince Spaghetti Day? Do want to mention, by the way, programming note. I mentioned football. This is not my first show of the day. Later on, 8 o'clock. You don't have to listen live, but it's a first look podcast, a Pick Six podcast. First time this year, Tim. We have TJ in chat. TJ will be producing. He'll be jumping on later. We talk a little bit of movies at the end. Don't worry about the movies. If you don't care about the movies, don't worry about it. We talk an hour and a half with Rich Rebar, John Daigle, a week 1 preview. Super excited to talk about. Got to convert that best ball brain into week 1. Week 1. How many best ball teams have you knocked out? Are you still knocking them out?
I did quite a few today. I'm up to like over 50 now. I'm definitely not going to get to 150. But yeah, Pick Six tonight at 8 o'clock. Best show on DFS. 8 o'clock.
I wasn't fishing, but I think it's because
Rich
and John are spectacular.
Show. Yeah, you guys are all really, really good. It's a great show.
It is a good first listen. And if you don't know what's going on, like just give it a listen, and you'll be tuned in as far as what's going on this week. It's a fun slate. It's a 12-gamer. Some of the good games, unfortunately, are not on the slate. No Buffalo and Baltimore. That's a fun one Sunday night. Probably the best game of the weekend. Not even a conversation, at least on paper. All right, so we have crunch time coming here in just a few minutes or so. Do you have a best ball and anybody like your most popular for whatever reason, 20-30%? Any big stands? Is this happening organically? Who keeps popping up in your lineups?
I have no Derrick Henry. I am very, very underweight on Jamar Chase. But it's mostly on Chase and Robinson. It's because I keep getting no 1 to 3 picks at all.
Okay, that's yeah.
Nothing I can do about that. So I basically have no Chase. I have no Bijan, and then I've been fading Derrick Henry late in the first. So I have no Derrick Henry.
Are we just going to ignore? Am I the only person that heard of this funky noise?
I have no idea what that. I have no idea what that was. I have no idea what that.
That was a siren, right? And there's a gong. Now I think Steve is just having fun with this. Is that Ted Flintstone running? What is Steve doing? What is happening with producers? He's just get a brand new pack of like buttons to push. What is happening right now? Is Steve telling us without telling us? Could you help me out here, Tim? What is happening? The chat?
I don't know.
Yeah, they added new sound effects.
So you're just playing with them. What's your favorite one so far? What have you discovered?
I just added the explosion. I like that.
Okay.
Gunshot.
When would you use that? Like when somebody drops like a truth bomb or something like that, or like a hot take? What would you use the explosion?
Definitely like a hot take.
Okay.
I didn't try this one yet. I like the drum roll for something.
Oh, like a big announcement. Yeah, a big announcement
coming in now.
Is this? Are we stalling? Are we waiting for crunch time? Are they not fully assembled? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, we're still waiting.
Okay. By the way, I don't think you guys saw this. This has dropped. Apparently, a new proposal for NBA All-Star Weekends. Round robin tournament, 2 USA teams, 1 world team, 8 players per team. I'll tell you, my first thought is just only 8 players from the world doesn't seem like enough. The world's really good. Like Giannis and Joker, SGA, that doesn't seem like enough from the world. Luka, right there, that's 4. I don't know. I'm sure they're really going to start playing hard now. That's going to work. All of a sudden, it's going to be a real game. Wemby, yeah, the world seems like it's going to be a ridiculous team and probably not enough players to pick from. That's kind of my first thought there. And Mason Miller, shout out to Mason Miller. He had an immaculate inning, which it's cool. It's kind of like the cycle, good marketing, but really doesn't mean anything. It's it's a nothing. It's kind of cool. The immaculate inning. It doesn't happen very often. 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts. And if somebody's going to do it, he's like the 1-1, right? That's who I would draft. I would draft Mason Miller. If you're going to have immaculate inning draft, and we all have, we've all been there. I think Mason Miller, he's the Jamar Chase, if you will, of the immaculate inning draft. And you know what? Crunch time right now. Steve is having way too much fun with his buttons. It's a wait a second, hold on. I thought Roth was. I don't see Roth. I see a child.
I'm telling you in the chat the whole show it's not Roth. In the email it's me. In the schedule it's me. In the tweet it's me. I don't know what you're looking at, man.
You also have a child in your lap.
As surprised as Dean. Just like
Yeah, she was on the schedule too, Dean. You just missed it.
I see in the schedule the email was sent out. This is at 3:02 on the East Coast. Beimfohr, Potts, and TJ. That's on me.
It is not surprising, though, considering you couldn't pass classes in Florida, of all places, Dean. And you didn't even know that the University of Central Florida is in Florida. That's
UCF.
incredibly embarrassing, Dean.
I thought it was in Central as well. You can see the confusion.
That's fair.
Can I go on a little bit of event? You've heard University of South Florida, the Bulls, USF. You heard of them? Where do you think USF is located?
Probably Central Florida.
It's in Tampa. Tampa's not in South Florida. It's a marketing scheme. If you get the brochure, oh my God, I'm going to be in Miami. You're not in Miami.
Are you trying to tell me University of Central Florida is not in Florida?
No, it is. I don't know when I said it wasn't, but I must have misspoke. If anybody knows, by the way, the child was not in the email, just to be clear. I'm not saying she has to go. Just saying I don't see.
My wife's not home from work yet, so she's going to hang out for the next 5-10 minutes.
All right. Tim, we got anything before we step aside and get out of here? Where's Roscoe? No Roscoe?
Didn't show up. No show.
Unbelievable. All righty. Tim, anything else before we step aside and get out of here and make way for crunch time?
We're good.
All right. 50 minutes. You got 50 minutes of crunch time. Challenge accepted, TJ. Are you going to make it for 50 minutes? Is that going to happen?
I don't see why not. If I don't, it's because I'm just so excited to get out of here and start prepping the show for the Pick 6 show we got in an hour and 15 minutes.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm going to be prepping as well as I knock out some lineups, but let's step aside and get out of here and make way for crunch time. You got TJ Zwarych, Dave Potts, Erik Beimfohr. TJ, it's all yours.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Crunch Time. We got three of the sharpest minds in the biz joining us for today's show. And first up, we got Cheeseisgood, Dave Potts. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, I like the slate. It's weird, these back-to-back days with this weird late start time. It's like I don't know when dinner is supposed to be now. So I ate lunch a little late is what happened. You got to plan the whole day out differently when the game started this time. I had some KFC for lunch. Now the only decision is, do I have KFC for dinner as well? Or do I switch it up? So we can talk about that later on as well.
We just finished up our dinner, so our bellies are full. We're ready to talk about some baseball. And it's another day with Jeffrey Springs on the slate. So it's another day with Erik Beimfohr on Crunch Time. How you doing, Erik?
It is ironic how this schedule certainly keeps shaking out with my rotation being the same as Jeffrey Springs. But we'll get to it. I actually quite like him today, but we'll get to it. But I think that tells you a segue into some slate talk and pitching talk. I think that tells you about what you need to know about the slate. If I actually do, it's not just a bit, and I actually like Jeffrey Springs.
All right, well, let's start diving into it. We got 8 games. We got a bit of a late start. I'm only playing one small lineup today, lower dollar, saving my entry fees for some football coming up this weekend. But I am pitching Jeffrey Springs in my one single entry lineup today. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you will know when all of our shows go live because it is football season. We got NBA, we don't got NBA, but we got NFL and MLB crossing over right now. Lots and lots of content. So stay tuned because that's why you got to hit that notification bell because we got a lot of stuff coming. Plus, you want to hit the like button for some Spidey bombs. As long as we're hitting the like button, I will drop some Spidey bombs later on in the show. Cheese, I'll throw it to you. Give me your overview for today's slate.
Yeah, the overview is pitching is very unclear. And hitting is obviously the Giants, but also at least 5 or 6 other teams that you could see outscoring even a good Giants game. tell you that I still don't really know who you're supposed to play at pitcher. I am still just mixing it up. Like I don't see a single person I want to take a stand on. Kind of like I said in the musings, when I first looked at it, I was like, I don't think George Kirby is really worth this in Tampa. Like he's fine. And I still don't really think he is, but like he's the only guy on the whole slate who I feel like almost certainly gets positive points. You know, like with all these guys, it's like, yeah, someone in this group, Jeffrey Springs, Ryan Berger, Will Warren, Zebby Matthews, like someone's going to have a pretty good game and get 15 to 20. Maybe a couple of them do. Aaron Nola. But goodness gracious on guessing which one it is. Like they all have very obvious problems. So I just kind of named all the names, but let's let Erik tell us about pitching anyway. And then I'll follow up on his Jeffrey Springs thoughts after he tells us how bad his Cardinals are against lefties.
That's it. And I wish I were serious, weren't serious, but it is very much true. I mean, it's bleak, man. It's bleak in St. Louis right now, and it's not going to get any better. And I think against left-handed pitching, they are a particularly vulnerable matchup. It is not that hot in St. Louis. It's a little more of a pitcher's park. So some of the like George Kirby concerns, like you mentioned, Kirby is probably the best. Like you said, I feel confident Kirby's going to get positive points, but is he worth that price with a Coors Field game and some other bats we want to spend up? I genuinely think Jeffrey Springs is the best pitcher on the slate. This Cardinals team has 3 lefties in the lineup. 2 of them are 2 of their best 4 hitters-ish, something like that. I mean, Thomas Sajaci is hitting 5th for a professional baseball team. Ivan Herrera is fine. Mason Wynn is fine. These guys are fine. Wilson Contreras, right, is fine. But it's one of the weaker lineups in all of baseball, and I think Jeffrey Springs is one of those murky pitchers, like you mentioned, but in the mix after Kirby. And at 7,300 on DraftKings, he's the first guy going into my lineup against, sadly, my Cardinals. I've been playing pitchers against them. And I think they were a poor target earlier in the year when the lineup was a little bit better in a little bit lower strikeout. It's gotten worse and a little bit higher strikeout as the year has gone on. So I genuinely think Jeffrey Springs is the best pitching option. Point per dollar and all that. See, not just me. Plate IQ also likes Jeffrey Springs. George Kirby, if I can get him, is my next favorite pitcher on DraftKings, but I don't love it. He's been a little bit better this year from an upside perspective, but he's just like that guy. He's like now I kind of like them too today, so maybe this is telling, but he's like the Royals of pitching. It's like there's a little bit here, right? There's Bobby Witt, there's Vinny P, there's Salvi, and then there's a lot of guys I really don't ever want to play. And like that's George Kirby. Is like I can see it, but is he going to win me the slate? I almost assuredly not, but he could win it by just not losing it for you at pitcher. The guy I do like from a matchup perspective, though, is Bergert. No Mike Trout in the lineup as well for the Angels is a nice little boost for him. It's a little bit more of a high variance spot than George Kirby is, I think, although the park is not great for Kirby, but it's just a lot of right-handed bats and a lot of strikeouts for the Angels. The fly balls and home run potential are there for the Angels, but I think if I can't get to Kirby, it's Berger and Springs for me, but Kirby is, that guy of, if you can make it work, that's it for me. And I don't really have much interest in hardly anyone else.
Yeah, on both sides, I think Bergert and Springs are going to be my 2 favorite options. Cheese, how about you? Are you going to prioritize spending up for George Kirby? Are you going to play Ray and Coors? Like all of the 4 most let me reword this. The 4 pitchers projecting for the most ownership today, all 4 of them to me just look like I couldn't want to play them less, if I'm being honest. Like I liked Zebbier earlier in the day, but not at that ownership.
Yeah, so I have exactly 1 Robbie Ray lineup out of maybe 30. So that's how much I like Robbie Ray. I really probably only have 4 or 5 George Kirby out of 30 lineups. Like it's just not worth it, really. It's just like we've been saying. Yeah, he's fine. But even though I don't know which 2 it's going to be, I lean towards Berger and Springs. 2 of the guys in this, $7K to 8,500 range will score close to what Kirby scores. So I would rather just kind of mix and match them. The guy I'm like super confused on is Will Warren. Like the season long numbers against righties are still like mind-bogglingly great. But it's really fallen off. Like so much of it is early in the year that I don't trust that he's that guy. So I am playing him a little bit. He's kind of my next guy in after Bergert and Springs. I go Bergert, Springs, Warren. So I'm playing Warren ahead of Zebby, basically in that range. Zebby is also in there. I think he's got some ceiling, but he's also just kind of hasn't looked great recently. The White Sox, the way they can like make a guy throw a lot of pitches is Zebby's problem anyway. So I feel like even if he pitches well, it could be one of those 4-inning games again. So, and then Nola, we don't have any idea who Nola is right now. He's kind of like the poor man's George Kirby, really. Like even against the Brewers, he should get positive points. But the ceiling seems pretty unlikely because I don't think this is the old Aaron Nola. So essentially, I have a little bit of every single pitcher of Kirby, one Robbie Ray, Zebby, Warren, Nola, Bergert, and Springs. Like those 7 are all in my pool. And Bergert, Springs, Warren, Kirby are the 4 I have the most of.
Warren, my top choice after Bergert and Springs as well. He comes in number 3 for me. And Aaron Nola's.
Okay, that's not just me. It's not just me. You sound like
TJ, you're like on a spaceship all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. 1 second. Christian Yelich.
It really is.
Out amongst yourself.
That is like the astronaut talking to Houston all of a sudden.
Exactly. I was waiting for the or it's like an old school, like like a very old high school or something when they would talk over the monitor.
Exactly. And real quick, we'll just say on FanDuel, the pricing is essentially the same, other than I think Bergert. I mean, the difference between Bergert and Springs is irrelevant for salary on FanDuel, and I do prefer Bergert there. I don't know. Who do you prefer on FanDuel, Eric? Like, if the $400 just doesn't matter at all.
I still think it's Springs, but it's very close. I was planning for Trout all day, which is just like there's just a little more juice in the Angels lineup. But if you remove Mike Trout, maybe there isn't. So maybe I'm wrong about that. But I've been leaning Springs all day.
Test. How we sound?
There you go. You're back.
All right, cool. We did get what I was trying to say is Aaron Nola's night got a little bit easier because Christian Yelich just got scratched, and so he is no longer in the lineup for Milwaukee. I still don't like Aaron Nola though. Cheese, would you just as a kind of confirmation, we have Alexander asking in chat, would Springs and Bergert be your cash pairing on DraftKings, or would you try and get up to Kirby?
Honestly, I think I'd Springs Bergert and just get like Devers and Witt to start with. So that way, normally I would say it's Kirby, but I think there's enough high-end bats that I would just want to start with. I would go Bergert Springs.
All right, Eric, talk to me about some stacks on this slate. Obviously, we have the Giants in Coors projecting as the top stack. You playing Coors today, or are you looking to go elsewhere?
I'm still honestly a little bit torn. I think what I've been saying about Herman Marquez is that he's a different cliche every single time, or a different analogy, I should say, every single time of a punching bag, a piñata, or whatever. It's bad. It's sad, and it's also bad. And I've just been kind of trying to take advantage of it as much as I can. The problem is if we're sitting here calling Jeffrey Springs maybe the SP1, that probably means there's a lot of good hitters in some pretty good spots. If there's plenty of games and plenty of pitchers that I think can target, the lineup for the Giants leaves a lot to be desired after the top couple of bats. I mean, Wilmer's in there, Drew Gilbert, Casey Schmidt, Luis Matos, Patrick Bailey. Willie Adames is one of their best hitters, and he's at a position where even in Coors Field against Marquez, he's not the best. He's definitely not the best shortstop, in my opinion, on the slate. Do I want to play a one-off Devers? Like, he's the guy. right? Devers would be the guy. It's like, do I want to play a one-off chalk Devers? I don't know about that. Matt Chapman, I love, but it's a little bit trickier than normal, I think. So I have a little less interest in them than I normally would, but they're right there for me. The sad state of affairs, why I've bet the former Oakland Athletics tonight is not only is Jeffrey Springs my favorite pitcher, but Matthew Liberatore is throwing about as hard as one of us could throw nowadays from a velocity perspective. And even if he starts the game throwing his normal 94 or so, by the end of it, he's throwing about 89. And he cannot last long in these games. There's no length and there's no velocity left on Libby. He's given up at least one home run in 5 straight games against some not very good competition, and the A's are powerful, and I really like them from like a really low-owned contrarian offense. The Cardinals bullpen behind Libby is woof. It's really, it's not Rockies bad, but they traded away their only good relievers at the deadline, and they're rolling out some really bad guys. So I outside of the Giants, I really do like the A's. I like the Yankees, but the lefties. Jason Alexander really struggles with left-handed bats, and luckily for us, you can play. Yeah, exactly, Ryan. You and me both. You can always play Aaron Judge, of course, so you can play that righty in a Yankee stack, and they have a whole boatload of lefties that look really appealing. It's a great park. It's a great matchup for the Yankees. So there's a lot of these other guys. The Royals are the next stack up for me, but again, they're like probably more of a mini stack, though. I guess Yastrzemski and Maikel Garcia could round out a stack for you with the Royals. So they're near the top for me as well. So it's really those groups, I think. But really, you could convince me on just about any offense, and that's my problem with the Giants. Is I think that a lot of these offenses, even ones I haven't named, are in play, and so. Am I going to play like Wilmer Flores and Patrick Bailey? I don't know if I want to do that on this slate.
Cheese, how about you? Who are you prioritizing for stacks today?
I'm definitely under on the Giants. I've got the Yankees are my favorite. Not even just for ownership. I just like them better than the Giants. The Twins are my next favorite. Yeah, I like the A's as well. It was late May in 2025. Matthew Liberatore had a 2.73 ERA. You remember that, Eric? I remember that specifically. But he was good. I was like, this is the guy. He's got it. And it's
Cardinals are like 10 games over 500. Everybody in St. Louis is pounding their chest like we're back. And oh boy.
So I like the A's. The Cubs are a little bit of a conundrum. No Tucker, no PCA.
A Cub-nundrum, if you will.
Carlos Santana. Unfortunately, I don't know why. Unfortunately, you can't play Michael Busch, but I think the Cubs are okay-ish. And then the Rockies. I more prefer the Rockies, just 1 or 2 bats here or there to full stacking. But everything is on the board. There's not a single team I wouldn't play even in like a 20 lineup build.
Whatever you want.
Steve is on it today with the sound bites. Eric, I will go to you first to discuss the catcher position, as catcher will make it so that you don't have to do outfield first.
Yeah, I love it. Catchers are usually quite fun to talk about. The cycle of which positions are good in MLB DFS has been wild over the course of the last couple of years, and catcher is quite good. For me, it's just like almost every slate. Is Ben Rice in the lineup? Is he facing, is he facing a right-handed pitcher? And like, how good is that right-handed pitcher? And oftentimes I'm not sure it matters even if the right-handed pitcher is good, because Ben Rice is really good against righties. And today he's facing a right-handed pitcher who is not good. So Ben Rice, even with like it's a loaded catcher pool tonight. He is my top option. After that, I go to Shea Langelier. I mean, if you can't get it by him, you can't make him swing and miss. And there isn't a reliever coming in that's going to be able to make him swing and miss. Matthew Liberatore can't make him swing and miss, and he's pitching from the left side. If I can go up and get a more expensive guy even than Ben Rice. I do really, really like Shea. You can play, of course, Hunter Goodman, Rockies. Cheese mentioned the Rockies, but like this is kind of like it's not the same level, but it reminds me kind of like how shortstop is sometimes. They're like, there's some guys down there, Edgar Cuero and Patrick Bailey and Coors and stuff, but like there's a bunch of guys up here that are really good hitters, like really good hitters. Ben Rice, Cal Raleigh, Hunter Goodman, Salvador Perez. Like there's a bunch of these options at catcher. I can't fade the guys that have like 2 home run upside to try to squeeze out 12 points out of my catcher and be with the punt guy.
All right, Cheese, how about you? Who are you playing a catcher?
So I almost agree with Eric, but even more so to the extent that, to me, unless you're playing Devers, I think you play Rice as a first baseman and play another catcher. Like it's so much better than first base if you take Devers out. So yeah, I love Rice, but I'm actually playing him at first base, which means in a Yankee stack, I can use Austin Wells, but otherwise, like this is why we're going cheap at pitcher. Play Goodman, Langelier, Cal Raleigh. You could do Herrera if you weren't playing Springs, but to me, those top 3, along with Rice, are just so good. That's what I'm doing.
All right, take me to first base.
So on DraftKings, it's a pretty big decision on if you want to play Devers. I do think you should probably, if you're stacking like a bunch of Giants, do a couple without Devers. Just be different with the stack. Play Wilmer Flores and leave him out just because he's so obviously the play. He's not going to hit a home run every day. And maybe they decide to throw at him and get him out. Maybe he's the guy who leaves the game in the first inning tonight. I'm not playing for it, but it could happen. But if you're not playing Devers, to me, like it's really a pretty bad position. Like the good spend up guys like Harper and Kurtz, both lefty, are certainly playable, but this is not compared to shortstop, outfield, and even catcher. These are not great spend ups. Michael Busch, I do like a little bit. That's the only name I even want to mention. Like it's all just a dude in a stack if you're not playing Chalky Devers, Ben Rice, or maybe Michael Busch.
All right, Eric, how about you? First base.
I totally agree.
Vinny P. Sorry, I forgot to mention Vinny P.
I was going to say I couldn't remember if you said Vinny P.
Especially good play on FanDuel, if I remember correctly.
I was also thinking about I was distracted by the Devers thing. Like I'm wondering if Marquez, it's gotten so bad he doesn't want to pitch anymore, and he'll be like just throw at Devers and go with everybody go sit down for the evening and let the bullpen come in. Marquez is just an absolute. He's just throwing BP out there. So what's the difference? But I will just toss in the absolute pay up to be contrarian. It's lefty. I don't really like to play him against lefties, but I'm not sure that Liberatore is going to last long enough. It's just Nick Kurtz. I would toss in there as like we have him at 2% pay up to be contrarian instead of Devers because the position is bad. To your point, Ben Rice makes that a little tricky since you can play him here and play one of the spend up catchers, but I'll just toss in Nick Kurtz as well.
All right, take us to second base.
Second base is disgusting. It is most nights. You're not going to catch me playing chalk Nico Horner anytime soon. So that's absolutely not happening. I also don't really want to play chalk Casey Schmidt. I don't care if he's hitting in Coors Field or on the moon or whatever. It's in play right in giant stacks. That's fine. But I don't know that I'm doing that anyway. Oh, guy who really stands out to me, just a little bit lower down the list. Well, so we got to get Jazz out of the way. Jazz is the best tournament play. We should burying the lead. Jazz is the guy. He's in an awesome spot. He has home run and stolen base upside. He also may get ejected and do something stupid like Rafael Devers, but that's about the only way he seems to fail in tournaments. But Jorge Polanco, I like Jorge Polanco quite a bit. I think he may have backed off the roids he was taking at the beginning of the season because he's not quite hitting the ball quite so hard and far as he was at the beginning of the season. But Adrian Hauser is like fine real life pitcher who misses absolutely no bats, especially against lefties. And he's a ground baller and all that, but he can be vulnerable to, home run hunting. I don't love stacking against him, but home run hunting. And they got some good lefties, Cal Raleigh and Jorge Polanco, two of the most notable ones for Seattle. I think that was it. Hold on. I just want to double check the A's lineup. Is Geloff in there?
Yeah.
I haven't.
He got moved up a little bit.
I like him quite a bit. He had was it 2 years ago that he had like a really monster season, and then he's been really pretty bad ever since. But he reminds me of another one of my idiot guys that I keep playing is Matt McClain. It's just like, even when he's bad, he can still hit a home run and steal a base. And I tell myself, I'm like, at 1%, this is going to be the time. But I think Geloff's a little better than that.
Geloff is supposed to be good, and he's really never gotten. I mean, he only has one kind of full season, and it was a 17 homer, 25 steal season. So I'm with you.
What else are you with him with, Cheese? Talk to me about second base.
Honestly, it's Jazz or it's Geloff, and I'm done. That's all I have to say. I really don't think I might have one Michael Massey on his own just for salary and no other reason. Everyone else is just in a stack. I mean, like, I want Keishel in my twin stacks, and I want Casey Schmidt in my giant stacks. I mean, you could make a case for Bryce Terang, but I'm just playing Jazz because I have the salary.
All right, take me to third base. And in the meantime, everybody keep hitting that like button if you want Spidey Bomb number 2. It's coming at 150 likes. First one, Yordan Alvarez, plus 310. Second one coming at 150 likes. So keep hitting that like button. Cheese, who do you like at third?
So third base has 3 Giants on both sites. So we're going to get a lot of Giants at third. And the problem is this is the position that doesn't have the obvious pivot. Like, I wish it was second base that had the 3 Giants, so Jazz would be a little more different. My preference is to go cheaper here. Like, I'm okay with like Maikel Garcia or Suarez or something. But I think Royce Lewis is the guy I have the most of. And it's not, I don't love Royce Lewis. It's just that the spend ups here are very, And so I'm also okay with playing a Giants bat on their own. Mostly Chapman without stacking the Giants, I think is a decent play.
I think it's a really sneaky spend up today to go with some Junior Caminero up against Kirby. Who do you like at third base, Eric?
I don't totally hate that. I was also going to toss Yoan Moncada if you want to play against the if you're not playing Burgard in a lineup. I don't think home run hunting with Moncada is terrible. And then what she said, Royce, Chapman, Royce, and then Ryan McMahon. Also, it's a lot of that's like what Cheese was saying at second base. Like, play some guys in your stacks. But if I'm picking, a one-off, I like McMahon even a little bit more than Royce. Maybe he's burned me too many times, but I just like the Yankees a little bit more in that spot overall. So you can give me McMahon, but it's really thin position.
All right, take me to shortstop.
Sure, I wouldn't call shortstop like loaded. There's definitely talent at shortstop, but it is really fun at the top. Those higher owned guys. Another reason why, I don't want to play all this chalk, play all these Giants. The Devers decision is very difficult. Why some of these spots I want to pay up to be contrarian and that kind of stuff is because outside of Willie Adames, who is going to be very popular, Bobby Witt and Jacob Wilson are just awesome today. If you need to save a little bit off of Bobby Witt, Jacob Wilson is definitely my preference. That's your savings, right? He's 4,000, not 2,500 or 3,000, but that would be my savings option. And then if I can go get a spend, I'm sorry, Willie Adames, I'm not playing you over Bobby Witt at a similar price and more ownership today. So it's shortstop. While there's some decent names, it's still a smaller pool for me here.
Getting to Ezekiel Tovar today in my lineup. Who do you like Cheese at short?
This probably isn't super important, but there's a dude who works at Kroger right up there that looks exactly like Jacob Wilson. It's wild stuff. And I feel like Jacob Wilson probably works at Kroger in the offseason. He looks like the dude could bag some groceries in a hurry.
He's Kurt Warner. This is the Kurt Warner story. He's going to become a champion. Yeah.
spend out for Bobby Witt. I think that's great. And then I like Neto and Wilson in the mid tier. So I am under on Willie Adames. And then I like Tovar as well. So like I would play Witt over Adames straight up. I like Neto, Wilson, and Tovar more than Adames on DK with the savings. FanDuel, like the salary just doesn't matter. So I'm playing almost entirely Bobby Witt because it's just not relevant. Saving $500 or something does no good for you. So I'm not really overthinking it there.
All right, taking to the outfield.
Spending up is interesting. You know, Judge is not the Yankee you want, other than he's always the Yankee you want. But I feel like Judge and Schwarber and Acuna, they're all good, sure, but I don't love any of them. Buxton's the only guy I'm really spending up for. And then I prefer like Grisham, Rooker, Jordan Alvarez, Jordan Beck, and Brenton Doyle a little cheaper. It's much harder to get away from Ramos on FanDuel. I'm not having trouble at all getting away from him on DK, but 32 on FanDuel, I kind of think you just play him. On DraftKings, I think Drew Gilbert might be my favorite Giants bat. I think he's actually going to be a good DFS player. I don't know if he's going to be a good real life player or not.
I like those guys. Bad real life, good for DFS. That's
you really
my
do.
bag.
Yeah, that seems like your thing, doesn't it? And yeah, I think that's all I need to mention.
All right, Eric, how about you? Who's left? Who do you like the outfield?
Pretty similar. I agree with the Drew Gilbert thing, but the outfield is where the Coors guys kind of tail off, maybe outside of Gilbert. Ramos is like fine, but I don't think FanDuel for sure. But like on DraftKings, I don't think he's like too much of a standout. I mean, Jordan is obviously going to be very popular, but he's also $4,500. That's he should be popular at that price. I think my favorite tournament outfielder is Brent Rooker. A lot of A's obviously over here, but I also just like, even setting aside my bias, my anti-bias towards my team, I guess, is Brent Rooker in this spot is awesome. So he's probably my favorite tournament guy. Trent Grisham for the Yankees, of course. And then I'm including Yastrzemski in some Royals stuff. I think he kind of like makes the cutoff above the if the line is like Michael Massey or whatever, I guess I would classify him as above that line, so somewhat playable, even though it still makes me a little queasy wasting an outfield spot. On this has risen up in ownership a good chunk that I did just want to shout out to that I like for savings is Ian Happ at 3,300. I don't know why his price is going down. It keeps going down and he keeps like hitting home runs. But
it seems like they've decided to just like they've hit a button and gone, let's drop every Cubs price a couple $100 each slate.
Even the good ones, right? Like, drop the bad guys, but Ian Happ's the one doing the hitting right now. And he's been very good, especially against right-handed pitching this year. So I think that price is really, really bad. And Coors should keep some of the ownership off of that, as well as like our Yankees and A's.
All right, let's do some home run picks, and then we will take some questions and get out of here. Cheese, I'll throw it to you first for some home runs. We're 10 likes away from the next Spidey Bum. Get me those next 10 likes. So I got one more for you guys. But Cheese, who do you like to hit a home run tonight?
Let's go with Brenton Doyle and Austin Wells. Trying to stay off the obvious ones there. And how about a little random Michael Massey?
Oh, baby.
All right. Eric, how about you? Who's hitting a home run?
I did not go as deep into the bag as Cheese did, so now I feel terrible. But I'm going with Brent Rooker Jorge Polanco, and Vinny P.
I like it. Cheese, do you mind looking behind you? Looking over your shoulder. Tell me if there's
Toma,
anything-
it's right there.
It's right there. That's what I thought. And if you didn't know, football is right around the corner, everybody. We got a show 30 minutes after this one's done. We got our first game of the season tomorrow. And Fantasy Labs is your home for season-long fantasy football and best ball content. Get access to rankings, projections, articles, and more from award-winning experts like Sean Corner and Chris Raybon. Fantasy Labs now is an app that allows you to get real-time rankings, draft sheets, and lineup advice on the go. Sign up now with code RG15 for $15 off. Plus, if you're looking to get NFL DFS access this season, why not get more bang for your buck with our Combo Pro deal? For a limited time, you can get your first month of Combo Pro for just $79.99. That's only $5 more than an NFL DFS monthly subscription. Don't pass out this elite value. We got some time left in MLB season. As soon as it's done, it's going to be NBA season. You got golf. You got college football, which we have a really, really great team for. MMA. Get yourself some Combo Pro. Don't just get the NFL. That's foolish. It's foolish. $5 more a month. You get Combo Pro as well. Check it out. All right. I think it's time to.
Hey, can I just say it's silly that it listed all those letters in that promo and did not list NHL. Tim is in the chat. He will tell you NHL content. That should have been one of the 3 letters listed, or 3 of the 3 letters, if you will. That's coming up soon too.
Couldn't agree more. We got NHL coming up shortly with an incredible team. If you're playing some NHL, get in our Discord chat, NHL Discord chat, because they do some wonderful, wonderful work in there, Tim and the crew. Let's start taking some questions. Let's keep hitting the like button so we can get some Spidey bombs. Cheese, first one is for you. Rooker or Buxton as a FanDuel one-off?
I tremendously love them both. I'm going to say Rooker.
All right. Please rank these Yankees for FanDuel cash, Erik. Bellinger, Grisham, Rice, and Jazz.
Let's go Jazz because of second base. Grisham, Rice. Who was last? Bellinger. So Bellinger last.
Agreed. Cheese. Next one just says Cheese was Wells and who else? Oh, for home runs. For home runs.
Brenton Doyle and Michael Massey. We're going off the board, and Eric's all like, "Ooh, let's do Brent Rooker." Yeah, let's do
exactly. I would like Aaron Judge, please, and Rafael Devers.
3,500 left in the outfield for DK Cash. Who you're rostering, Erik? I think it might be our guy that we just talked about.
What was the price again?
35 or below.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Gilbert. Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking half.
Gilbert projects for 0.3 more points than half. Yeah. So there you go.
Trust the dying course makes more sense.
Yeah.
All right. Yaz or Garcia on FanDuel to complete a Royals mini stack, Cheese?
Garcia.
All right. They asked Steve, but I'm asking you, Erik, who's your captain tomorrow night?
Oh man. So I don't have I'm going to cheat and not answer the question, but I think it's Saquon, but I'm lock buttoning Will Shipley. That's the plan.
Whoa.
Eagles roll $2,000. Will Shipley gets home in the second half. There you go. There's the hot take. I don't know. The Eagles are going to score a lot, so pick an Eagle.
Yeah, I like the Barkley side of things as well. But looking at our optimal tool, it looks like Hertz is projecting with a very high optimal rate so far. Best single entry stack for DraftKings tournament, not in Coors. Cheese.
Yankees.
All right. Ruthless Villain wants to know who my captain is. It is Saquon Barkley for tomorrow. I think I'm only going to run out one lineup, but I'm planning to go just play Barkley, Hertz, AJ Brown, and Jake Elliott, the kicker for the Eagles, all in one lineup, and then figure the rest out later. I want that Eagles blowout build. Cheese, FanDuel GPP, favorite pitcher?
That's going to be Bergert.
QQ, I have $1,200 left for my DK large field tournament team, Eric. Should I upgrade my pitchers or should I go with my gut and stick with who I have?
Well, it depends on who the pitchers are, but I'm always a proponent of trusting your gut, and if you love the stacks and stuff that you have in there, let it rip.
This definitely is a slate where you can leave some salary. Sometimes it's silly, but it's very viable today.
I would think if you have, depending upon the pitchers that you have in there, it might get a little
Caden,
questionable.
Dana and Herman Marquez, maybe spend that 1,200, but yeah.
Someone asked this twice, and I don't really know what they mean, but someone just says any Philly stack you like, Eric. I don't know if that means do you like Philly players today for Milwaukee, or if that's back to talking about tomorrow's football game. I'm not sure, but what do you think about the Phillies today for GPPs?
I don't particularly like them, not because I don't think they're going to score some runs. They just too many other options for me. But yes, Eagles stack. That sounds good tomorrow. Stack up the Eagles.
Jake asking what I think about Quintana. Quintana's not somebody I'd want to play on the slate, and I agree. I'm not big on the Phillies full stack, but Kyle Schwarber's definitely hitting one out of the park today with a reverse splits lefty pitcher and a guy who absolutely crushes left-handed pitching. So speaking of home runs, we are 3 likes away from our next Spidey Bomb, so keep hitting that like button if you want a second Spidey Bomb. And yeah, Blink-182 Rue says they were running out Bergert and Springs with that lineup with 1,200 left. I do think that is a very interesting way to get different because those are my top 2 pitchers as well. That'll do it for questions. We have hit everything. And I'm looking to see if there's anything left. And it looks like we will get one more Spidey Bomb and get out of here. So admittedly, I was going to look at Brenton Doyle, but instead I'm going to go, since Cheese picked him, I'm going to go Brandon Lau plus 400 as Spidey Bomb number 2 to go along with Yordan Alvarez plus 310 as the first one. Big tourney on DraftKings. Thoughts with 3 Cubs, 3 Mariners, and 2 one-offs. Eric?
It's not my preference on how to play it, but I do think a couple of the Mariners are interesting and a couple of the Cubs are interesting. So there are probably some good plays in there. I would rather just move some things around and get to a little bigger stack within somewhere in there.
All right. Cheese, give me one quick recap of your top pitchers and top 3 pitchers, top 3 stacks. And then I think we can get out of here if there's no more questions.
Yeah, essentially, the 3 of us are all on Bergert and Springs. Just go cheaper pitching. It's fine to play George Kirby, but I think Bergert Springs is the way to go. Stacks, I'm underweight on the Giants. It's obviously the Giants are the top stack, but I think there's a lot of ways that they have one of those games where they score 8 runs and it's not useful for you because other teams score 12. To me, that's Yankees, Twins, Royals, A's, and then Rockies.
All right, that will do it. One more question for you, Eric, before we get out of here. Goodman, Adames, and Suzuki, or Gilbert, Witt, and Grisham?
Gilbert, Witt, Grisham, straight to the podium.
Yeah, I like that side a lot better as well. Great call. If you want to see some more of Eric, you can see him on Sunday morning for week 1 of the NFL for the GPP Final Take Show. It'll be Eric, Jordan Vanek, and Neil at 11 a.m. You got Dean, Bobby, and Tim, the People's Show for Grinders Live coming before that on Sunday. And then myself and Will lead you all the way up to lock with NFL Crunch Time. And of course, you got Cheese back tomorrow for some more MLB and Friday for some more MLB as well. So lots of Eric, lots of Cheese. Don't you worry, everybody. But since there's no more questions, we're going to get out of here a minute early. Stay tuned for the Pick 6 show starting in about 30 minutes. Rich Rebar, John Daigle, and Dean Shavelson. You guys know Dean. Dean's been around. Dean 78905-602-307. You know him. He'll be back. I don't know why I'm rambling. That's it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. On behalf of myself, Eric, Cheese, and Steve doing a great job behind the scenes. We'll see you next time.